This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Netflix. Go to netflix.com/TYT for an awesome free trial membership.
So we've got all these cuts throughout the country, and they say it's absolutely necessary. Of course, what they don't tell you is all the tax cuts going to business, etc. But in the Philadelphia area, they decided that they needed to do cost-cutting measures. So they were going to do rolling brownouts for fire departments. Now, to me, I immediately think that is a terrible idea. Now, what does a rolling brownout mean? It means, hey, you know what? We shut down, engine 61 for a day, and if there's a fire in their area, well, and I'm being literal here, this is exactly what happened. Engine 51 will go to that fire. They'll take a little longer to get there, but what's the worst that can happen? Well, it turns out that the worst that could happen was 2 kids died in a fire because the fire engine didn't get there in time. And as the fire department says, look, here, I'll give you the exact quote. Fire Department Lieutenant Michael Grant said, Engine 51 took over for them. They got here in good order. But Mike Kane of Philadelphia Firefighters Union Local 22 says Engine 61 could have been on the scene much earlier. Here's his quote. Whether that Engine 61 being browned out, if that company was in service, they would have made a difference. Nobody can answer that because we don't have a crystal ball. What we can say is maybe if they were there, they would have had a shot. Maybe them kids would have had a shot. And instead, they didn't. 2 young kids under the age of 9 are dead. Cost-cutting measures. Because you got to cut, we've cut to the bone. I mean, the fundamental core job of the government is to protect its citizens. Whether it's national defense, whether it's police, it's the fire department, in my view, the FDA, EPA, to make sure our air is not polluted, our food and our drugs are not poisonous. It's to protect the American people. And now you got fire departments, shutting down temporarily for days to do cost cutting, and they're not protecting the people, man. They're not protecting the people, and instead they're protecting corporations who get tax cuts at the state level. They get tax cuts at the federal level. That's who our government is protecting. And if some kids die in a fire, well, corporations had to get bigger tax cuts. So sad day for them. If you're not revolted by that, if you're not bothered by that, there's something a little wrong with you, man. They've gotten all the way down to the core job of the government. And remember another fire department in a case we had told you about last year, went out, and since somebody had not paid their dues to the fire department of a local town, neighboring town, they let his house burn down. We had shown you a video. There was a fire raging, and the fire department's right outside, and they refused to turn on the water. A dog died in that fire. All their property was not damaged, destroyed. And they could have easily stopped that fire, but they didn't. And it was something comical, like under $60 that they had not paid. You don't pay the $60, you get crunched. Let your house burn down, literally. This is what our government has become. It's repulsive.
This episode of The Young Turks is brought to you by Netflix. Go to netflix.com/TYT for your free trial membership.